in that sport. So if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts, if you want any clarification on anything, feel free to send us WhatsApp, and the gentleman, I'm sure, will do justice to all of that. It's 02000000995, 02000000995, or 059-415-7777. Mr. Kwabena Poku and Nana Asante Appiah, good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Hope you are good.
Yes, we're good.
Good to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
Right. So let me start by asking, Mr. Poku, what do you think is the driving force behind that popularity in motorsports in Ghana?
Well, first of all, motorsports is quite popular in Ghana.
Yeah.
Way before we started our watch party series and all of that, except that people did not know a lot about the massive popularity and things. When we started our watch party, people were surprised. That, oh, now I don't have to sit at home and enjoy it on my own. I can go somewhere where I have like minds of petrol heads and motorsport lovers who come together to watch the viewing party. But over the past few years, Formula One introduced the series called Drive to Survive on Netflix, which has garnered a lot of support, viewership, especially for the African market and the American market together. So people were now seeing the behind the scenes of what goes into the sport, the drivers, and these are not acted, these are like real situations where Netflix is actually following every move, every situation with cameras and then putting it together as a show. So every year they come up with the previous year's edition. So this year there's a new season out, which is actually the previous season, which was last year, showcasing the behind the scenes, the teams, the struggles, the victories, everything. So it garnered that popularity. And this year, when they were turning 75, F1 went a little bit of, I would say, Hollywood or bougie, maybe a bit of entertainment. So they said, okay, let's bring all the 10 teams together, have one big party instead of having separate launch dates and distorting the whole season. They brought all of them together. They gave them specific time schedule, to showcase their cars, to showcase what they are bringing on for the next season, to showcase their new drivers and all. So it gave it, and the O2 Arena has the reputation of putting off big shows and big events. And for me, when I watched it on Tuesday evening, it was a wow situation, especially for me, even in the industry I play my everyday work life in. So it was, for me, like I was in heaven.
Mr. Asante Appiah, would you like to add anything to what Mr. Poku said?
Oh, yes.
With regards to the...
Certainly. In Ghana, as you are growing up, you remember all of us when we used to make our own cars and put ball race and race it ourselves. So I think it's an inborn thing and natural with the African. And if you look at what is happening in the continent at the moment, even South Africa and Rwanda are trying to host a Formula One event. We have the people, and we have people who are interested in motorsports. When we started the BMW Club, we did a few things in Ghana that surprised us. We did some form of racing at Labadi, and the crowds were such that we couldn't contain them. So we did another one at Afienya, and it was also a blockbuster. It caused confusion in the city, and now we don't even have a venue anymore.
Wow.
So we have a whole lot of people who are interested in motorsports. So it's natural that once Formula One became easily available, it is now attracting a lot of people. I think people are also tired of the football and the other things that they used to watch, because some of their favorite teams are not doing well anymore. So they're finding other things to do.
Mr. Poku, so you mentioned the watch parties, the exposure on Netflix and all of that as the reasons, some of the reasons to have raised a lot of interest in the sport. How do we intend to leverage on this as a country and as a federation? What steps are you taking to leverage on the growing popularity?
Okay, so as a federation, one of the main things that we're trying to do is to build the sport in Ghana, grow the sport in Ghana. I mean, we are nowhere near hosting a Formula One event as a country, and even as a city of Accra. I mean, you have an average of about 380,000 people per weekend going for an F1 event per that week. We can't even host 10,000 people in Accra if they are to descend on this city to we don't even have enough rooms for where they can sleep. So as a country, we are not, as a federation, what we are aiming at is to grow the sport in terms of the education bit, the STEM education bit, the science behind the sport. And also, we are also aiming at growing the go-kart industry. Before this new government took over, we were talking to the previous heads of the NSA about giving us a spot at the Idle Boteman complex, where the plan is to develop an FIA standard go-karting track with all the necessary amenities, where we can actually host our own championships in country. I mean, the go-karts are easy to host for now, and also be part of the African rally events, where we have proposals that have come in saying that they wanted to see the feasibility of using Ghana as one of the countries where the rallies will go through, and all that. So we have all of those plans. But then, as I was saying, the education bit, and then the entertainment and the championship bit. The education bit also teaching the kids from the primary school level through to the high school level in terms of the science behind the race and all of that. So one of the things that we're also talking to our sponsors and some of these brands who are behind F1 who are in Ghana. I mean, companies like Vivo Energy, Valvoni Energy, Engine, which is Petronas. You have the likes of the Mercedes, which is under CFAO, and also bringing them together and then having that particular STEM education bit where these kids can learn the science behind the technology. And also we put up competitions where we will have like the junior championship and the senior championships, where they can actually win prizes and go to some of these teams who have like smaller training facilities in their home base, like the UK, the Italy's and the likes, just to go have a feel of it. And also, I mean, last week I was in South Africa. Nana and I were in South Africa. Nana came earlier than I did. But then I had the chance of visiting the Kyalami tracks, where we are also advocating for South Africa to host an F1 event next year. In fact, South Africa is pushing for it. They are actually expanding the Kyalami tracks to FIA standard. Mind you, they've actually hosted F1 before, but the rules have changed. So they need to expand the track. They have the facilities, they have the hotels, they have the amenities to host it. So one of the conversations I had with the GMs of that particular track is that, listen, this is what we are also trying to do in Ghana. And they are actually ready to help us develop, just even if it's the part of the go-kart track where we can collaborate with them and actually study from them. They bring in not just the logistics, but then the know-how and the knowledge behind it to help us grow the sport. And they were very interested and very accommodating in doing that, because at the end of the day, we are also pushing for them to actually we are also pushing as in supporting them to get the rights to host an F1 race next season. And it's going to help the continent as a whole, if at least we get even one race, on the continent. It breaks that eye onto us, and it builds the base. All we want is to develop the base, just the basics. Once we get that going, maybe at some point Ghana will become like the likes of South Africa, Morocco, and I mean Cape Town, the likes, who have actually hosted Formula One events. Formula E has been in Morocco for quite a while, and Formula E was actually in Cape Town last year. So now they are going for Formula One itself, and we're all behind them, and they're also ready to support us to develop our industry.
Now, in educating and getting people to get the understanding, especially the science behind it and all of that, are we looking at setting up some academies or something like that, to where we touch base with the grassroots, the kids?
So that's the whole idea of we pitching this idea to the NSA, the National Sports Federation. If we can actually get some part of the Boteman complex, because look, I've been there. The Boteman complex is very idle now. People are having churches in there and the likes. If we have a facility like a go-kart facility on the side, imagine the number of people who would troop there even on weekends, just to come and learn the science behind racing. And we'll have these tiny cars, which are like miniature cars of them, but you can still get to race, you can still get to see the technology behind it. We can even host viewing sessions over there. We can have training clinics over there. The car companies can have their own training clinics over there. So it's a matter of putting up a complex where you have everything at the one-stop location. The education bit, the racing track, and then the entertainment bit.
How far did you go with that conversation with the...
We did go a little bit far, but I mean, they didn't make any promises. They said that we should wait for the elections to go by. I mean, if they're going to have a new management in place, then we can begin to engage again. And the thing is, we're not going to engage on our own. We are going to bring in all the motorsport clubs on board for them to be able to see that, okay, this is a united front. So it's not just a track a place where you're going to have just one event, but you have various events coming up there, and even the guys who are doing the rough road thing, the dirt bikes and things, they are also pitching with us.
Oh, okay.
To see if they can have sections where they can actually have their rough road tracks and all those things, because the go-kart tracks can be on their own, and you can also have the rough road tracks also on the
quad
side.
Bikes,
The quad bikes and those people. Yeah.
How many motorsport clubs do we have?
I can count about 10 currently. I mean, the top one of them all is currently the BMW Club. They are well structured, if you ask me. Well, very well structured. Before maybe the quad bikes and then the motorbikes.
And then Asante Appiah is a patron.
Asante Appiah is a patron of the BMW Club.
Yes, as we speak, we are in South Africa. The club is in South Africa for the annual general meeting of all the BMW clubs
Globally.
Okay.
So we are actually involved with the BMW Club globally.
Okay.
But the other thing Kwabena didn't add is the fact that there's a growing number of people in Ghana who go and watch live Formula One events all around the world.
Wow.
Yes.
And when they are there, they send us pictures, they relay what's going on. So it's an interesting.
It's a very interesting. We had opportunity to go to for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix two years ago, which was in December, and we were actually hosted by the UAE government, the Abu Dhabi royal family, I mean, for me, when I came back, and I will attest to it, watching the live race is totally different from watching on TV. It's a totally different experience. The roar of the engines, what you hear on TV.
I'm imagining.
The roar of the engines that you hear on TV.
Yeah.
It's totally. I remember when the first day we arrived on the Thursday. So the Friday when we were going to the track for the FP1, which is the free practice one session. I remember we were driving to the track, and I could hear these cars maybe from here to BB Papaya, and I could hear the vroom, vroom, and I'm sitting in the bus, and I'm like,
the whole
ground is like. So I'm asking them, wow, these Formula One cars are like crazy. And the guy looks at me and says, oh, my brother, no, these are the Formula 2. I'm like, what? Smaller engines? These are supposed to be the smaller engines. So we get onto the track, and the F1 engines kick in. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is it. And we are like, because of our invitation level, they have various levels. So we're in the paddock club. So we are looking directly at the mechanics. So when the cars when they are coming out, we're like literally looking at them. The roar of the engines when all 20 cars are on and moving, you can't even hear
yourself. Wow.
The other thing I may add is that with the viewing party that we have, we have people all over the world on the same platform.
Yeah.
So virtually at every race, we have somebody living somewhere
who is actually
in Australia or Malaysia watching the race live, and most of them are Ghanaians, so we're very proud of that.
Wow.
I was just curious about when he mentioned in Abu Dhabi. I was just thinking I can imagine what Monaco will look like being.
You can imagine Monaco. So the street races, Monaco, Baku, Singapore, Las Vegas. So you can imagine how those races are, because these are all street tracks.
So I want to understand, right? Because from the information you gave, my thought was that Formula One was now a burgeoning sport, but it has been happening for a while, right?
Yes.
Are there any initiatives towards financing towards these things? Any funds available? Because
you mean for us in Ghana, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Because to set up massive clubs, I know I've heard of the BMW Club. I did not know there was one in Ghana myself, but this is the first time I'm hearing.
The BMW Club has been around for years.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of the most vibrant.
Very vibrant. Yeah.
I've ever attended one of their showings, I think around the
Yes, the Afinia Road. They had the drag race over there. Okay, so for us, so the idea now is that we have until I think ending of May to finish our FIA affiliation forms, which we are currently working on. It will cost us about thousands of euros to become a member of the FIA. Now, with that, we'll be able to access some form of funding from the FIA to help us grow in terms of the education level, the basics and things like that.
Okay.
But we're also talking to Karting Africa. I actually met them in South Africa. I think the weekend, the Friday, the Valentine's Day, that's when I had my meeting with the Karting Africa guys. And they are also ready to help us fund in terms of funding and equipment. because they don't want to just come in as funding it. They want to come in as also as partners, and they have the experience. They've been running this for years, and they are well vested with FIA, the standards and everything. So we're also talking to Karting Africa, and the gentleman is actually supposed to visit Ghana sometime in April, to also come in. That's when we might have also quite advanced and developed talks with NSA just to go see the site before the NSA gives us the grant to use the facility. Because the thing is, as much as we are going to develop the site, we are doing it in partnership with the NSA.
Yes.
The NSA still has some form of ownership in there. And whatever revenue that's going to come in, it's going to be like a PPP, private partnership sort of split, to use the facility. But we will also have our own say there. And then as I was saying, the education bit, the education materials, the education logistics and all of that, the idea is to be able to have a seat on the African aspect of the FIA so that at least we can get a say on some of these things, and then we can also advocate and push for them to help our industry grow. We are not there yet. That's why we are starting with the karting and then the STEM and education bit, and also growing the interest of the sport over here. Eventually, we hope to do Accra, we hope to do Kumasi, we hope to do Takrady, the Golden Triangle. Once we get the Golden Triangle done, then the rest is, can have its sale on its own. This year's viewing parties, we are just about to release our schedule for the Accra.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
Accra and Kumasi. We have 2 sites in Kumasi that we are adding to the schedule. Kumasi people are on our neck, like, you guys have to be here, you guys have to be here. So we're going to Kumasi. We have a bit of some media partnerships. We're hoping to grow our media partnership base. Especially that base will help us propel the interest in the sport.
Another question. I have one more question, right? Looking at how we're trying to grow the FIA in Ghana and all that, and with your experience leading the charge in some regard, what skill set do you think is unique to Ghana in any aspect of this FIA?
Oh, in terms of Africa FIA, our skill set will mainly be in terms of organization, in terms of putting together motorsport events. That aside, we also have the technology and the knowledge base in terms of technology over here. We have a couple of Ghanaians who are actually working with various aspects of Formula One. Also locally, if you look at our BMW Club, for instance, they have every single mechanic you can find over there with the knowledge and the know-how. Trust me, Nana will tell you that. If you see some of the cars they've built on their own over here, they bring, of course, they can take your normal BMW and turn it around, and you'll be surprised.
You know what? I had a question that is actually related to that. We see Ghanaians, modify their cars for speed and performance. Okay. I was about to ask Mr. Asante Appiah, what role do clubs like BMW play in ensuring responsible driving and road safety? Because we see all of these cars, all of these people trying to modify their cars, for speed and for performance and all of that. I'm sure you have a role to play in that.
Yes. We have been virtually every year we do a road safety campaign when the national road safety people are doing their thing.
Okay.
There was a time that we were at the toll booth to distribute pamphlets and things like that. And within the group also we have lectures, and we get information from all over the world in terms of safety. And sometimes we send out some of our people to South Africa to learn how to drive properly. Yeah, we think we know how to drive, but we don't.
What does it take to be a member of the BMW Club?
Just own a BMW.
And you don't even have to own a BMW. You have to be enthusiastic about cars. You can come and join.
Okay. And to add to the road safety bit of it, we've had programs with one of our sponsors, Heineken. Heineken, in terms of F1 safety, Heineken is the one who drives that particular charge.
Okay.
They have the Don't Drink and Drive campaign and all of that. So even in Ghana, we've had events in collaboration with the BMW Club where we promoted road safety. I think it was about 2 years ago. Yeah. And Heineken is very heavy in terms of road safety campaign. If you drink, don't drive. If you drive, don't drink. They have all of that. So we're hoping to actually work on that aspect of our campaign with them this particular season as well, where we promote road safety issues as well.
Okay.
I have a quick question.
It's some 35 minutes after 11. You're still live on Team Talk here on Asaase 99.5. We are live across the country in Kumasi on 98.5, in Tamale on 99.7, Cape Coast on 100 104.3. Feel free to send us your thoughts. If you have any questions with regards to the conversation we are having on motorsports and F1, feel free to send them. It's 020-0000-995 or 059-415-7777. I'm speaking to Mr. Kwabena Poku, who is head of Motorsports Federation in Ghana, conveyor of F1 Watch Party, and then Asante Appiah, patron of the BMW Club here in Ghana. And we'll be wrapping up the conversation shortly. But yes,
so quick question on the F1 watch parties, right? Yeah. Is there a viewing schedule and then location timeline for the year?
Yes, there's a viewing schedule. One of our viewing schedule for this year. We finished the one for Accra. We're currently working on the one for Kumasi. Now, the one for Accra, one of our major partners is the facility developed by Honeysuckle called the Pit Stop.
Okay.
We were there last year. We actually used one of our events to open that place. And we're going back this year. So our main locations in Accra, major ones will be Pit Stop, Labadi Beach Hotel, the Marina Mall car park. We'll have a few outdoor events over there. We're going to have events with Vivo Energy. You know, Lewis is joining Ferrari this year. And even if you watch the launch of the cars, it was like people were there to watch the launch of the cars, but all they wanted to see was Lewis in the Ferrari uniform and coming with it. That was the main highlight of the night. And also we have events like that with Shell and Vivo Energy coming up, where we will have sessions where people can actually come for their diagnostics, oil change, and all those things. So we'll have a few outdoor events at the Marina Mall car park. We have Labadi Beach Hotel, we have Pit Stop, we have Velandro in East Legon, we have Heritage, we have the Beer Garden in Osu. So all the 24 races have various designated viewing party scheduled locations. But then all the other locations will still be open. If you're unable to come to the particular designated session for that particular event, you can actually go to the other side. And then we're also doing, the F1 movie is coming out this June, with which is actually produced by F1 and Lewis Hamilton.
Okay.
And has Brad Pitt playing the main role in that particular movie. No, it's on Netflix. It's not going to be on Netflix. It's actually going to theaters.
Okay.
So we're doing a full premiere with Silverbird Cinemas in June, which is coinciding with the Austrian Grand Prix. So on the Friday before the Austrian Grand Prix, we'll do the movie premiere, and then we'll have the after party at Pit Stop. And then on the Sunday, we'll actually watch the Austrian Grand Prix at the Silverbird Cinemas as well.
Right, you forgot to add the early morning.
All right, we have, so the first 3 races for the season are all done. I think we have 5 a.m. one and then 6 a.m., 6 a.m. So we're doing the 5 a.m. at Pit Stop.
The time zone,
because we are Australia, China, and I think Japan.
Yeah, because I know Australia will be hosting the season opener.
Yeah. We've done that bit. We've done races. You should see us at our done race viewing party. 5 a.m. The guys are there. Starbite mostly. Everybody. Yeah, and people are there. People actually come through to watch it. So so this year our done races are Pit Stop. That's the first race.
Okay.
We're watching the Australian Grand Prix. We're watching the Chinese Grand Prix and the Japan Grand Prix at Starbite.
Starbite East Legon.
Starbite East Legon. So all of our races.
That's on the 21st to 23rd March. That's the China one.
And the Japan.
The Japan one is 4th to 6th of April.
Yeah. So
the
we're doing
Australia one is 14th to 16th.
Yeah. So 16th, we're doing it at the Pit Stop. That's the season opener. At the Pit Stop. We're watching, I think the race is about 5 a.m. thereabout.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, this season is very pumped up because everybody wants to see what's going to happen between Ferrari, McLaren, and Red Bull. Maybe Mercedes may play, and people are also watching Aston Martin carefully because the Red Bull designer Andrew Newey is now with Aston Martin. So everybody wants to see what he's going to put out there as his first car for the season to win the championship or something. But we'll see.
So the likes of Verstappen and co.
Yes, I mean,
all good.
Oh, they're good. Look,
Red Bull.
And I keep saying that nobody should underestimate Red Bull.
Okay.
Don't you underestimate Red Bull at your own peril, right? But the thing is, last year for me, McLaren could have won this thing easily, if not for strategy issues. They could have won this thing, win this thing against Red Bull, not easy. But then again, this year, you can't really put a finger on who is going to win.
How much of an influence would Lewis Hamilton have on the?
A huge influence. A huge influence. I watched the Sky News report, right, where the reporter was actually at the launch event, and he said that it's amazing how British fans are all wearing Ferrari, or the fans of a lot of fans over there were actually wearing Ferrari, and then also you have seen them in Mercedes and the like.
Yes, but
these guys were all literally And if you watch the
I've
event,
changed.
he was introduced about 4.
I've changed already.
Yeah, look at
So Mercedes too.
yeah.
To Ferrari because of Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, I see.
But at the event, his name was introduced about 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
You should have heard the noise in there, and even globally, the comments. If you follow the chatters on social media, everybody's interest is there. And what I like about it is that as much as they are interested there, they've lowered their expectations.
Yeah.
That this is the first run for him in a Ferrari. Maybe he might win a couple of races, but to win the championship, hold back a little bit, you know. But he might win a couple of races, and the influence is there. Lewis's influence on F1 is not a joke.
Fantastic. I mean,
I'm thinking in one of the calendars or the Formula One calendars, we can do some live, you know, broadcasting of
Coverage with it.
coverage of that. We'll discuss it. We'll discuss it. We'll discuss
We've
it.
done it before. We've actually done it before with George.
So we can have it live on Asaase.
We've actually done it before.
Yeah, so
I think we've done it like twice.
So let's think through and see what can be done. Maybe if not the Australia one, we can do the China or the Japan one.
and after the race, you can interview people and summarize what has gone on and
All right.
see how people are.
But the interest is there, and for me, anytime anybody asks me, people say, "Oh, I'm trying so hard to understand the sport. All I see is 20 cars running around the tracks."
So maybe one of these days we would have to invite you here again, walk us through the rules and, you know, all of that. Bring the basics.
Just the basics.
Yeah, bring people's understanding. Get people to understand the sports much more better.
But I only tell them that go and look for Drive to Survive on Netflix.
Okay.
Just watch from season 1 to date. It's not boring at all.
Right.
The stories you hear, the strategy you hear.
Have there been any changes for this season?
Every year there's some sort of rule changes.
Okay.
There's some sort of rule changes this year which is taking effect. But the major rule change which is going to kick in, transform everything, is from next year. Next year, major rule change, because next year also you have Audi coming. Audi is entering big engines, and next year's changes are massive. Yeah.
So maybe I'll take.
All right.
Would you like to give personal 3 for the season?
Personal 3.
Yeah.
in terms of drivers or the cars?
Yes, the drivers.
In no particular order.
Yeah.
In no particular order. My take, I'm going for Norris.
Norris.
I'm going for Norris. I'm going for Verstappen.
And then the third one.
And the third one, I probably will stick my neck for Lewis.
Okay.
Mr. Asante Appiah.
For me, I'll always be Lewis first.
Okay.
Secondly, I think Lando will do better than Max this season.
Okay.
I think that is what will happen.
Lando Norris, huh?
Lando Norris.
And then the third one?
The third one will be Max.
Where's the third?
Yes.
Okay. So, but with the cars?
Oh, with the cars, the championship, I probably will stick my neck for
McLaren,
McLaren and Ferrari.
Okay.
Still, again, McLaren and Ferrari. Because last year was McLaren and Ferrari.
Yes.
So I'll stick my neck out for McLaren and
You
Ferrari.
see, what I believe in and what accounted for the flop, if I may put it, for Mercedes over the course of last 2-3 seasons is the fact that they did not listen.
Thank you.
Well enough.
Of course, they did not listen.
They didn't listen.
They didn't
to
listen.
Lewis.
Not just Lewis. They didn't listen in complete.
Because if they did, you have Lewis, who is a heritage on its own when it comes to driving.
And he's telling you.
And he's telling you need to do ABCs, the engine, the tires. But you see, I think this has everything to do with what they believe, their beliefs. No, we are Mercedes. We decide how to go about A, B, and C. But with Lewis leaving, and later I think they came out with some BS stories about Lewis wanting more years and new chapter. That's why he left. But everybody knows the reason why Lewis left, and the major one has to do with the engine.
Do you think he left acrimoniously?
No.
Oh, I don't think
No. it was coming.
But I think the problem was Mercedes. They didn't want to make him a lifelong ambassador
Of
all these things, which Ferrari has given him, And immediately he went to Ferrari. Ferrari shares have gone up by 10 billion.
Yeah.
10 billion.
Yeah,
They paid him
it's
for
so
What's an
serious.
icon?
Oh yes. All right, Rula, if I may, I love, my son love races. Like anytime he's watching them.
That the Ekow races.
So when I was in Cape Town, I think I saw the tracks.
Yeah.
So I was asking, and then I didn't know about, is it Kyalami?
Yeah.
And then the tour guy was telling me, oh, wait till you visit Kyalami. They hosted a Grand Prix
Years ago.
1993
about
was
2
the last
decades
time.
ago, and all that. I
1993.
said, oh, I said, look, now they are pushing for Cape Town Grand Prix, and I think
It's already done from like
yes, they want. He was telling me Mackenzie, that's the sports minister, he loves.
Yeah, he's the one who's actually pushing.
So he's pushing
It's an agenda for him.
I think
It's a straight up
we
agenda
can do
for
the
him.
same
It's,
thing.
it's his
Over a
agenda.
weekend, Over a weekend, the amount of money the
That was
country makes.
me. I'm a finance guy, so anything I do, I look at the financial aspect, what it brings to the table.
The bottom line.
Yeah.
Yes, no, the economic impact of these things, it's huge.
Yeah. They've expanded the airport.
Boost the economy and all that.
They've done so many things in Joburg.
I mean, look at Abu Dhabi. The whole country is what? How many? 650,000 or something like that.
And then they have like more than half.
So they are doing the
that
Abu Dhabi Grand
people-
Prix.
I'm telling you, the whole
You
world.
won't
is
even
there.
get flight. Serious.
Oh no, we were in the Paddle Club. Paddle Club had about 20 suites for various
Full up.
teams plus various brands. It was all packed.
No,
And we
every
go
year,
to
I
we
mean-
we leave our suite and go to the rooftop, packed.
I
like
mean, I've been going to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix like 6 years consecutively,
Oh, okay.
virtually every year. And every year the numbers keeps on growing. You can see it. It's a.
They've been deliberate
it's
about
not
it.
only hard work that brings money.
they are so deliberate about it, and their attention to detail in Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
Impeccable.
Attention to detail.
Already
Massive.
they've started marketing.
Yeah, the tickets
are
came out
available.
yesterday, and they're like
December.
flying off. And this event is in December.
I think I need to.
And the cheapest ticket is $500.
That's the cheapest ticket, though.
This
$500.
I'll see if I can have a tick.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you the Lewis influence. His first race will be Imola in Italy. Driving as a Ferrari driver.
Okay.
Imola is sold out. Monza, which is the second race in Italy,
Italy.
sold out. Mexican Grand Prix sold out. Brazilian Grand Prix sold out.
Damn.
All of them are even later in the year.
In the year,
They're
damn. Already.
So literally,
Already.
most of these races, if you're looking for tickets to buy, you're literally buying off the black
Of the
market.
black man.
And if you are interested in Monaco, £7,000 you can make it.
All right, that's how I was interested. I'm like, hey, truly the principality lifestyle. We can
And even that, you're not staying in Monaco, mind you. You're staying
yeah,
in-
yeah,
That's very easy. I'm driving down every day.
I bet you we can have this conversation for the next 2 hours and it will not be boring, but we need to move on to other issues also. We are wrapping up. But looking ahead, let me ask both of you, Mr. Kwabena Poku and then Asante Appiah, what do you think the future holds for motorsports in Ghana? And can we expect a Ghanaian driver in Formula One someday?
Okay, so
I beg you, stay in that corner.
motorsport, the future of motorsport in Ghana is very bright. Right? Some of the programs that we are putting.
But we need to be deliberate
Oh, yes,
about
that's what I'm. That's what I'm coming. That we're going to be very, very deliberate in terms of seeing a Ghanaian driver. We already have a Ghanaian driver who is actually pursuing the challenge in terms of getting into at least F1 and F3. They're about Lewis Appiah. It's actually called. You can look him up online. It's actually called Lewis Appiah. He's been to Ghana a couple of times, and we also have a couple of Ghanaian engineers who are actually pursuing a particular line as well. And for us over here, that's what I was saying, that developing the STEM education, developing the junior championships, which is starting from the primary school, as my brother over here was saying that his son loves F1, that particular age group from 12 years going, if we're able to develop them, whoever wins these championships, the idea is to send them to these teams to go and see what they can learn and over there, showcase their skills over there. You never know. Somebody might just get the opportunity. It's not just luck, but an opportunity to be able to become by some of these teams to groom them, into who they will be. I mean, mind you, Lois started from playing what do you call it, remote car games. That's how he started, So there's a lot of opportunity for us. And the other aspect too is seeing our motorsport clubs also developing various activities along the line, and we also helping them to develop those activities and put it in the limelight in terms of FIA championships and things like that. Not just Formula One. FIA has other championships. The MotoGP, there's also the normal four-wheel cars GP, there's a rough road, there's all this. So we are looking at all the aspects of Formula One is like the pinnacle of it all.
Pinnacle of all.
But we have other parts.
But if I may add, please don't laugh. We can do a street race in Accra if possible.
If possible.
We can have Black Star Square as the pit stop, and they can go from the Black Star Square to Moving Peak, go and turn around Accra Central somewhere. They come on the high street. We can do something. That's how other people started.
Yeah.
If you have the will, you can do it.
How far do you want to carry this?
Oh, as long as possible, as long as I live. I've been watching these things. I watched a race in South Africa.
What would it take to?
In 1993, so you can imagine.
What would it take for this to be realized, what you talked about now?
All of us, enthusiasm getting the clubs going, getting the sports ministry to look at other things apart from football.
I was going to go there. I was going to ask...
these are the things that
Kwabena, any plans to meet the sports minister?
Oh, he's new. So we're going to meet him. We'll definitely go with the NSA. Our dealings with the NSA will propel us to go and meet him. So we are working on that.
Right.
Yeah. We had a presidential candidate who said he was going to bring F1 to Ghana if he wins. As much as I thought it was a joke, I thought it was a bit ambitious, but there are plans to do that. Right. We're not listening back on that one at all.
Any last words?
The season is about to start. People can join us and follow us on Instagram, F1 Ghana. We also have our motorsport handle, the Motorsport Ghana, where they can actually find the schedule where we are meeting. If you want to join our WhatsApp group, WhatsApp platform is also opened. Right. Details are on our Instagram handles and our Twitter handles as well. So, the opportunity is there. We are asking for more members to join us. Come to the viewing parties. There will be people over there who can actually explain the sport to you, just the details of it, the small details of it, and you will actually really enjoy it. The fact that somebody's microsecond or somebody's tight change can determine the whole race, the time he spends over there and all that. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yes, we are open arms for everybody to come and join us. It's very interesting, and we wish all the Arsenal fans and Manchester United fans who are not doing well to come and join the Motor Club. It's more exciting.
All right. Thank you so much.
You know what? I think Mr. What's his name? Dr. Asante Appiah spoke about something, and I want to just chip in a suggestion to them that, as Mr. Kwabena Poku was talking about, encouraging the children from age 10 to 12. When they are doing their Grand Prix, where they watch, maybe he said something that Lewis Hamilton started with
remote
cars. So if they can have these giant screens and have these games for these children.
Let me answer that one quickly. So we also have the Esports Association, which is headed by a gentleman called Maximus. And they actually have simulators in the gaming sections, which they are actually working on. And they've actually helped with Pit Stop setting up a gaming center. So they are also working on their leagues.
Beautiful.
From the young age, where they are promoting.
So that James is coming to watch.
Yes, I can actually have you talk to Maximus. I'll send his details to you, and he'll be glad to come in to talk about it. Sure. So the Esports Association is also very big. And we are actually working with them hand in hand. So Maximus, your answer to that question is Maximus is actually working on that one with his team. Yeah.
Great stuff. Great stuff. This is amazing.
All right. Thank you so much for coming. Mr. Kwabena Poku, head of Motorsports Federation Ghana, conveyor F1 Watch Party, and Dr. Asante Appiah, a patron with BMW Club here in Ghana. We are grateful to have had you this morning on Asaase 99.5 and, of course, across the country.